Hi, welcome back to the shop. I have the river table sitting on top of the linear router sled, and I'm going to show you how I got it level and get ready to start cutting the top. So the first thing that was important is to get the table level. I can't put this level on here because of the lip, but with this other level you can see that the table is level, so we should be good to go. As I come around, you can get a good shot of the carriage that I made to carry the router. And as you come around to the other side of the table, you can see that the table is level, but I had a little space here, so I put a couple of little shims just to take any rocking motion out of the table. So I've noticed that in order to stop the table from moving, once I start contacting the table with the router bit, I'm going to put a couple of cleats around to hold the table in position so there's no lateral movement of the table while I'm cutting with the router. Okay, I have the rivet table sitting on my my router sled and checking the level. The table is level, and checking the rivet table, that's level. So we're ready to start cutting. In order to keep the table from moving laterally, I've added these little cleats, and I thought about a screw on an angle down into the corners, but I really didn't want to risk damaging the edge of the table or drilling holes into the router sled. So I'm going to use my pin nailer and pin these so I won't have any real damage to the table. So I'm going to do that right now and come right back. Okay, now that everything is positioned so the rivet table can't move, I'm going to just take a minute to connect my dust collection and get right back. Okay, I have the router all set up to take off just a minimal amount from the table, and I have my dust collection all set up, and let's give it a shot. So I've noticed that I do need to make a couple of minor adjustments. This sliding piece on the x-axis, on the y-axis, is a little tight. So I want to loosen that up just a little bit. And I want to move the table back so I can get this leading edge. I was too far forward, so I couldn't get the edge. So we'll move that back just a little bit. And so far so good. The cut was nice. So, okay. So far the cutting has gone nicely. I had to disconnect my dust collection hose because it was binding. It was causing the router to bind too much. So I'm going to reposition the table, increase the depth of cut slightly, and start again. The cut is coming out quite nicely. I wish I could control, the dust collection, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards. So I'm going to lower the cutter once again and make another pass. You can see already how it's cutting down that epoxy. Okay, with the router depth adjusted, we're ready to make another pass. Okay, that pass went very well. We're just about down to the level of the wood. So looks like one more depth adjustment and we can take off this remaining few spots, and we should have it pretty level, and then we can flip it over and do the other side. Okay, I'm ready to start making another pass. All right, I have to make one more depth adjustment, and I think that might be it. I think this adjustment might do it. I have a low spot right up here. I have a couple of high spots. Initially, when I poured the resin, the pieces of wood started to float. So I had to scurry around to get something to weight the boards down. So I did have some high spots where the resin had come over the top of the boards. So, all right, we're ready to do another pass. Okay, this side of the table is all cut. I have one low spot right there, just slightly low. I don't want to lower the cutter any more than that. Just to get that spot. I'll get that with sanding, but it looks fabulous. So now I have to just flip it over, do the back side, and if you're looking for good information on the process of making the table right from the start, there's two YouTube pages that I got a lot of information from. One is John Malecki, M-A-L-E-C-K-I. Very informative, a lot of beginner tips. And the other guy who is really fantastic, it's Blacktail Studios. The guy's name is Cam, and he's a terrific instructor for a tutorial video, and I get a lot out of watching those two guys. So, all right, until I flip it over and get to the next side, please subscribe and like and hit the bell so that you can get the upcoming videos as the table progresses.